Okay, picture this. You're watching the WNBA, Sunday, August 17th, 2025. It's the Indiana Fever versus the Connecticut Sun. Real nail biter. Well, it became a nail biter. At halftime, the Fevers are down by 19 points. 19?
Yeah, I saw that scoreline. Down 21 at one point, too, I think. Looks pretty much over.
Exactly. It felt like a lost cause. But then, somehow, this absolutely incredible thing happens. A massive comeback. They fight their way back, force OT, and they win 99-93. Should have been, the story of the week. Pure adrenaline. But, and this is the tough part, that amazing win, it got completely overshadowed. Because during the game, there was this really scary injury. Sophie Cunningham, key player for the Fever, went down hard. So today we're going to go deep on this, not just the comeback, which was amazing, but the reaction, the human side of it, and the team's resilience, but also these bigger questions it raises. Player safety, league stuff, it all connects.
Right. That's what we do here. We take all this information, the game reports, coach quotes, player reactions, all of it, and we pull out what really matters. We're basically giving you the shortcut, helping you connect the dots on how one moment, one injury can ripple out and touch, everything in pro sports.
Okay, so let's zero in on that moment. Sunday, August 17th, second quarter, Fever versus Sun. What happened was Sun guard Bria Hartley, she either made a pass or maybe turned it over.
Right. The reports were a bit mixed on the exact play preceding it.
Yeah, but the result was she fell, kind of awkwardly, and her momentum took her right into Sophie Cunningham's right leg. And look, it really didn't look intentional. Important to say that. There wasn't an official review for a flagrant foul or anything.
Or a flagrant review, correct.
But you saw Cunningham's reaction immediately. Just agony. Clutching her right knee, clearly in a lot of pain, had to be helped off the court, didn't come back.
And that brings us to the reaction from the Fever coach, Stephanie White. It was unfiltered.
Yeah.
Someone asked her what went through her mind seeing Cunningham go down, and she apparently just said, with a bit of a laugh almost, "Holy S."
Wow.
Followed by crap. Just totally candid.
Shows the pressure, right? The immediate shock.
Exactly. And she explained why she reacted like that. She said, especially the way that she fell and how she was holding herself and how much pain she was in. You could just see it was bad.
But then this is what's really interesting. She talked about how her mind just flipped a switch.
Flipped a switch. How so?
She said, and then it turns to problem solving, right? How do we put ourselves in a position to win? What do we need to do? She even added, I think that's maybe how I survive, is going straight to problem solving. It's like this immediate shift from shock to strategy.
That's incredible insight into a coach's mind under pressure. Survival mode almost.
It really is. But, it also makes you think about the players watching that unfold. True. How did they process it? Because what happened next on the court was just unbelievable. Against that backdrop, losing a key player, being down 19 at half, sometimes 21.
Yeah, most teams would just crumble there, mentally, physically.
Right. But the Fever didn't fold. They somehow rallied, fought all the way back in the fourth quarter, pushed it to overtime, and then Kelsey Mitchell just took over. Heroic stuff. Scored 10 points in OT alone, finished with a career-high 38.
38 points. Just massive.
Led them to that 99-93 win. Just an insane turnaround.
And context here is important, too.
Right.
This wasn't just one win in isolation. It got them to 1916. They'd lost 4 of their last 5 before this game. So talk about a morale boost when they desperately needed it.
So the adversity almost fueled them.
It seems like it. Kelsey Mitchell actually spoke about that. She mentioned seeing Aaliyah Boston diving on the floor earlier, that kind of hustle play. And she said seeing that is humbling, but then seeing Sophie Cunningham go down, it fuels you. Yeah, she said, if you care about your team, care about the people in your locker room, I can't even explain it. You just really have to care about the people you play with, and it fuels who we are as people.
That really speaks to the team chemistry, doesn't it? Turning that negative into motivation.
Absolutely. It shows how tight that group is.
So, Sophie Cunningham, clearly vital. Averaging almost 9 points, over 3 rebounds, playing big minutes, nearly 26 a game. Plus that locker room presence Mitchell talked about. How does a team even start to deal with losing someone like that? Especially given, their injury situation already.
Yeah, that's the really tough part for Indiana. This isn't just one bad injury. It's a pattern this season, a really alarming one.
They've been hit hard, haven't they?
Unbelievably hard. Let's just list them off. Caitlin Clark, the star rookie, out since mid-July with a groin injury. Then, on the same day, July 30th, they lost Arari McDonald for the season, broken bone in her foot.
Same day, ouch.
And Sydney Colson, torn ACL, also done for the season. On July 30th.
2 season-ending injuries on the same day, plus Clark already out. That's brutal.
It's devastating. And it really shines a light on maybe the bigger picture of player health across the league. The schedule, the physicality. It seems to be taking a toll.
With the immediate impact, they were already thin, right? Struggling with consistency. Losing Cunningham now just makes that depth issue critical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a specific rule that complicates things further.
Ooh, what's that?
They can't immediately sign a hardship player, a temporary replacement when you have multiple injuries. They're actually ineligible to do that until after their next game, which is Friday against Minnesota. So their hands are kind of tied in the short term.
Wow, so no immediate relief possible. They just have to manage with who they have.
Right.
So, okay, injuries mounting, roster limited. They were the 7th seed going into Sunday's game, right on that playoff bubble. What does this injury mean for their chances now? It feels precarious.
It absolutely does.
Yep.
Every game matters down the stretch, and losing a key rotation player like Cunningham at this stage is a massive blow.
And this whole situation, Sophie's injury, it's not just about the fever season, is it? It seems to have kicked off a wider conversation.
Oh, definitely. It really tapped into existing concerns around the league about player safety and officiating.
How so? What are people saying?
Well, it got very public very quickly. Sophie's sister, Lindy Cunningham, went on Twitter, and she really let loose on the referees.
What did she say?
She basically claimed that poor officiating is contributing to an unsafe environment, called the current standard pathetic. And she accused the league, the WNBA, of being more focused on finding players for complaining than actually protecting them. Strong words.
That is strong. And Sophie herself, she's had run-ins with the league over officiating before, hasn't she?
She has. It adds another layer to this. She's apparently been fined several times this season already.
For what specifically?
For criticizing officiating, yeah. Including things she said on a podcast, even a TikTok video.
Really? A TikTok video?
Yep. And she was also fined back in June for some retaliatory stuff in a game against, guess who?
Let me guess. Connecticut.
The Connecticut Sun, yeah. So there's clearly some history and frustration there already between Cunningham and the league, or at least the officiating.
So it's not just the sister speaking out in isolation?
Not at all. And the wider WNBA community seems to be echoing some of these concerns. Lots of support for Cunningham online. People are pointing to the number of injuries this season, questioning the schedule, the physicality, like we mentioned, and the fact that the play where Cunningham got hurt wasn't even reviewed for a flagrant foul. That really seemed to touch a nerve for a lot of people. Adds fuel to that fire about whether players are being adequately protected.
It definitely feels like a flashpoint moment. So what's the latest on Sophie herself? What's the prognosis?
Well, as of Sunday, when all this went down, there was no official word, no timeline for return.
Okay, so still waiting on definite news.
Right. The concrete next step was an MRI scheduled for Monday, August 18th. So presumably we'll know more soon after that.
And based on how it looked, what are experts saying might be the possibilities?
Medical folks familiar with these kinds of knee injuries, they suggest that if there's significant ligament damage, ACL, MCL, those are the big ones in the knee, she could be looking at several weeks out. Or, worst case, potentially months, which obviously has huge implications.
Yeah, weeks would be bad enough at this point in the season. Months would be devastating for her and the team. And Coach White, what's her plan now? They have a break coming up.
Yes, a 4-day break, and Coach White called it huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely essential.
What did she say they needed it for?
Pretty straightforward. We need the rest. We need the recovery. She talked about players logging heavy minutes, but also, crucially, she said, we need time to recalibrate. It doesn't get any easier. They need practice time. Time to figure out how to play without Sophie.
Makes sense. You can't just plug and play, especially after losing so many key pieces. They have to find new rotations, new strategies.
Exactly. It's a massive challenge. Trying to rejig your team dynamics mid-season, especially under these circumstances.
So let's try and pull this all together then. It's such a complex situation. You've got this team, the fever, just battling through unbelievable adversity, injury after injury. You've got a coach showing this incredible, mental toughness, just immediately shifting to problem solving.
Resilience is the word.
Definitely. But then you have this single awful moment on the court that just explodes into a much bigger league-wide debate about safety, about officiating.
Yeah, this deep dive really shows how interconnected everything is. One injury impacts a player's career, a team's season, sparks debates about league policy, officiating standards, and through it all, you see the resilience, like you said, of the athletes, the coaches, just pushing through immense pressure. It really captures the state of play in the WNBA right now.
It really does. So thinking about that wider context, the physicality, the packed schedule, it makes you wonder, or for you listening, what role should officiating play? Should it just be about enforcing the rules as written? Or does it need to be more active in actually trying to safeguard players, maybe anticipate and prevent some of these injuries, to protect the athletes and the game itself? Something to think about.